With so much research material available online, the ability to collect, organize, describe, store, and share these resources is becoming very important. LORE addresses this need by enabling researchers to collect their digital resources in compound objects. When LORE is open, both annotation and compound object panels are visible. The annotation panel can be minimized in several ways. To give the compound object editor even more window space, the annotation window can be temporarily disabled by clicking on Preferences and then checking Disable. The compound object panel can now be opened much further. Compound objects are collections of Internet resources that can be organized, described, related, and shared, a very sophisticated bookmarking tool. When a web page is loaded into the main browser, LORE searches for compound objects in which this resource is collected. For example, these compound objects all contain the OSLIT homepage. One click on any compound object opens the collection in the compound object editor. Here you can see OSLIT in one of the mini browsers. The tabs on the left allow you to browse, see your viewing history, search, and view or add property descriptions. This field contains information automatically created by LORE and enables the user to add further information about the collection as a whole or about individual resources. For instance, I can add information into a selection of fields. I'll add something into the Abstract field by choosing Abstract. Opening the editing window and adding new information. Clicking Update adds this to the properties. When the compound object is saved, any resource with an abstract can be seen when your mouse hovers over that resource. Let's create a compound object from scratch. If I were interested in the relationship between authors and literary editors, I could gather relevant information in compound objects. Let's create a relationship between Thea Astley and her editor, Beatrice Davis. When I've found these resources I'm interested in, I can begin to collect them by clicking the LORE icon in the browser's address bar. There's the OSLIT record for Thea Astley. Now let's look for Beatrice Davis. Once I've collected some resources, I can create a relationship between them by drawing a line of relationship, and then, by right-clicking on the line, I can choose a term that best describes that relationship. I might also want to include some relevant information about this relationship. Searching in the Fryer library, I can find and then collect the finding aid for the Thea Astley collection, including a significant source of information about the writer and editor in my compound object. By including a link to the collection of the Fryer library, my compound object contains detailed information about the Fryer's collections. After giving it an appropriate title, I've begun a compound object that defines and collects information about an important editorial relationship. After I'm satisfied with the collection, I can give the compound object a title and then save the collection to Ostlet's compound object repository. My simple compound object describes the relationship between Thea Astley and Beatrice Davis and stores this collection for future reference and refinement. I can come back at any time and use the links in my compound object to find the resources that are important to me. To see how this can contribute to literary and book history, view the video in this series on using LORE to explore cultural networks and circles.